Hi everyone, it's Colleen and welcome to my YouTube channel and to the YouTube Hop for a Cherry on Top new February releases. Today we're going to work on a pocket that you can put in your journal or your card. I believe it's called a coin pocket using some new release products. So join me today and let's have some fun. So the kit we're using today is amazing. It's filled with cutouts, ephemera, stickers, and pages that are beautifully designed. It's called Herbarium Salve by Stamperia. I'm sure I butchered the name of it, but um, I will feature it in the description box so you can find it. But you can see as I'm flipping through it all the variety of stickers, all themed. It's one coordinated theme. Cutouts or ephemera, some of you like to call that there's a variety of things. There's people, there's critters, there's nature. As we go further in, we're going to see more tags that you can cut out and use for your journals. Like here, you can use these and cut them out for your journals. You've got full pages that can be used in your journals, and they're all coordinated beautifully together. So this is what we're going to use today. This is wonderful. These little 4 pockets that can be put into your journal. So what I did was I took a sheet from the junk journal kit and trimmed it to 8 by 8 in size. Now I'm going to score each side according to what you see here, 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 by 1. So I'm using my little score buddy and I'm going to score each side, so to speak. 3 sides are going to be 2.25, and then one side is going to be 1 inch. And you're going to need a score buddy that's long enough to fit a size 8 by 8. You could probably do the same thing with a 6 by 6 paper, but then what we're making here, which is basically a coin pocket, it might be a little bit small when you're finished. So the 8 by 8 is the ideal size. So here on the 4 side, you can see this is where we're going to do the 1 inch. And you'll see why in the next few minutes why we're doing it in these sizes. So that's all done. Now the next step will be to fold everything up according to the folds I created to make sure we've got some good creasing using my bone folder. I almost forgot what that was. And now we have 4 sides. We're going to cut those 4 sides out. Um, Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see the sides because the paper is so busy, but if you look carefully at the creases, you should be able to cut, because you do want to cut those sides out as accurately as possible so that when it folds up correctly. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is mixed media. Mixed media never needs to be perfect. In fact, the imperfectness is what makes it beautiful. But you see how I kind of folded this side up a little bit so I could see the crease, and therefore I could fold it up correctly. And yes, save those paper pieces. You never know when you'll need them. And in fact, we are going to need one of these paper pieces a little bit further on in the video. But don't throw those out. Those are beautiful for your journals or cards to create collages or whatever you want to do. So I finally finished up. You could see I kind of cut this one a little crooked, but no worries, it's going to work out. And now I'm going in with a circle rounder corner. I don't know. It's a corner rounder punch, and I'm going to round the corners out a little bit. I just like this. I think it makes it a little bit softer and just adds a little more interest. You don't have to add this step if you don't have a corner rounder, or if you don't have to do it. It's not going to impact the final result. It's just a cosmetic feature. And you don't need to keep these teeny tiny scraps unless you really want to. Now we're going to go through and we're going to fold up the creases and adhere it together. So basically what you're going to end up with when this is put together is called, I believe, a coin folder. It's the same thing you get when you go to the bank. If you ever notice, you get those white folders with the lid that flips open, and they put your money and coins or your receipts in there. That's basically what you're making here. So we're just we're going to adhere it together. We're going to adhere two of the sides, and then one side's going to stay open because we're going to want to be able to put things inside of this. So we just want to make sure that the glue is a strong glue and that it adheres really well. And then I check inside the pocket as well to make sure that the glue didn't adhere to the inside of it. Sometimes it can seep through. But I love that you have two different designs on there. Isn't that cool? So now that's ready. We're ready to go to the next step. This is where those little scraps that we cut out earlier come into use. I'm using a 1-inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch from one of the squares and adhere that punch onto this coin pocket. And I used a little bit of a darker piece because I wanted it to pop a little bit. Now you want to make sure that this adheres and dries fully before you do the next step. And you'll see why in a minute. So I kind of leave it there a minute just to make sure it doesn't move around anymore, and that it is secured in that spot, because I'm actually going to get my hole puncher out and punch a hole right through it. I'm having trouble with words today, guys. I'm really sorry, but there's a lot of difficult words going on here, right? So here you see, I'm just being silly. Here you see created a hole punch. Now I'm going to go back into my junk journal, Herbarium Sylvae by Stamperia, and I need another little piece to coordinate with this, and you're going to see why in a minute. So I'm going to the cutout section, and I'm just looking for something that's small enough, and I see this little, what looks like a terrarium, I think, and I decide to use that. They're really easy to pull out. You just have to be a little bit careful when you're doing it so you don't tear anything, but really easy to get out of the booklet. And now I'm going to take my hole punch and punch a hole in the top of this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to be as accurate as possible. And now I've got some string here. I chose some shade of green. I don't know if that's like an olive green, I guess that is. And I'm going to run it through both of the circles. So it's going through the circle in the terrarium, and then I'm going to run it through the circle that I created in the middle, the hole that I created in the middle of that circle. Sorry about that. So now you have it, and I'm just going to kind of get that string where I want it. And then what I'm going to do is adhere that terrarium onto that coin pocket. But I want to make sure that I have that string right where I want it, because once everything's adhered down, there's no going back. So again, this is where strong glue comes into play to make sure that it does stay secure, and that is your, working with this piece, taking it apart, that it doesn't come off sometime in the future. Once again, make sure the glue is fully dry before going to the next step, and make sure the string is tucked behind that little element. I almost forgot to do that, and you need the string to be behind it. So once it is dry, now you're going to see I'm going to take that string, and then I'm going to wrap it around the back and tie a bow. And that is how we're going to secure this little coin pocket. Such an easy thing to do, and so pretty and fun. So I've tied the bow, and then what I do is just trim off the excess from the ribbon. And again, you could keep those little pieces, those little scrap pieces, for another project. I like keeping things, but look at how beautiful that turned out. It's just gorgeous. So now we're ready for the next step, which is to fill it. So we're going to fill it with a little tag, I guess you could call it, that came from this junk journal piece. And I'm just going to add a couple elements of interest using stickers, because I want to keep this pretty flat. I don't want to add a lot of bulk to this, since it's going to be tucked into that coin pocket. So I'm just adding a little fox and some nature around him, not getting too extravagant. I think this little tag is perfect to flip it over on the other side of the fox and write a little bit. Anything you want. That's what the whole purpose of the journal is to get in there and write your thoughts and share it, or give it as somebody as a gift to somebody else. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to share that this is a YouTube hop. A bunch of us from A Cherry on Top are hopping along sharing new release items, and there are prizes along the way. So I encourage you to follow everybody, get inspired by everybody's video, and then comment so that you have a chance to win something. So I'm so excited that you joined me. Now that we have our little thing done, we can put it in the pocket. You can see I'm struggling a little bit. It's not that difficult. I was just having issues. And then we can tie it back up, and this thing is done. I am so happy you joined me today. The last page here is going to feature what it looks like when you add it to a journal page. Enjoy.